Hello everyone, welcome back. In this video, we are going to be discussing about another endocrine gland, which is the parathyroid gland. So, where is the parathyroid gland located? So, when we talk about the parathyroid gland, you must actually be wondering why I have drawn the thyroid gland here. So, the reason why I have done this is because parathyroid gland is located on the posterior side of the thyroid gland. Okay, so it is going to be located on the posterior side, that is the back side. So it is going to be located on the posterior side of the thyroid gland, and there are four rounded small oval bodies which are the parathyroid glands. Okay, so these are the parathyroid glands. So what is the function of this parathyroid gland? So it is also going to be producing very important hormone. So the hormone which is produced by the parathyroid gland is called as the parathormone. Okay. Actually, there are two types of cells which are present in the parathyroid gland. So one cell is called as the chief cells, and the other cell is called as the oxiphyll cells. So the role of the oxiphyll cells is not that understood till now. Okay. So when we talk about the chief cells of the parathyroid gland are only going to be producing the parathormone. So what is the work of this hormone? So parathyroid hormone or the parathormone is going to be playing a very important role in regulating the calcium and the phosphorus ions. Okay. So for the regulation of calcium and phosphorus, parathormone is very important. So where and all do we need calcium? So for our muscle activity, okay, and then for our nerve activity, and then for our bones, our teeth, for all the development and for the growth of our bones and teeth and all, we need calcium. And lack of calcium will lead to a lot of complications. So if there is more amount of calcium, that is also dangerous in the blood. If there is very less amount of calcium, that is also very dangerous, because when there is less calcium in the blood, there could be a lot of possibilities for bone deformities to take place, and the teeth becoming weak. So all these will happen if the calcium level is low in the blood. Apart from that, if it is high also, it is dangerous. So now we are going to be seeing what will happen if the parathyroid hormone is produced in very less amounts. Okay. So parathyroid hormone, deficiency of parathormone, what will happen? It will lead to a condition called as tetany. Okay. So this happens due to hyposecretion of parathormone. So when does this happen? When will the level of parathormone decrease? For example, a person is in a situation where he has to get his thyroid gland removed. Okay. So when the thyroid gland has to be removed, automatically along with the thyroid gland, the parathyroid gland is also going to get removed. Am I right? So what is happening is during thyroidectomy. So when a thyroidectomy is where the thyroid gland is getting removed. So when the thyroid gland is removed, as the parathyroid glands are located behind the posterior side of the thyroid gland, along with the thyroid gland, the parathyroid glands are also going to get removed. Okay. So that when the parathyroid gland is getting removed, this parathormone will not be produced. So when the parathormone is not getting produced, it will lead to a condition which is known as tetany. Okay. So hyposecretion of parathormone will lead to a condition which is known as tetany. So let's see what is this tetany now. So in tetany, the person will be experiencing muscle spasm. So what is muscle spasm? Muscle spasm is sudden and involuntary contraction of the muscles. So it's a sudden and it's an involuntary contraction of the muscles. So tetany will lead to muscle spasms in tetany. So one of the symptoms of tetany is muscle spasm. So what will happen is there will be involuntary contraction of the hands, legs and the face of the person who is going to have this condition. Okay, so this is about the parathyroid gland. So I hope you understood about the parathyroid gland and the hormone and what is going to happen if there is a lack of the proper secretion of this hormone. Now let's take a look at the next endocrine gland. So the next endocrine gland that we are going to be discussing is the thymus gland. So when we talk about the thymus gland, the reason why it is known as the thymus is because it looks like the thyme leaf. So its appearance is like a thyme leaf. So that's why it is known as the thymus gland. So when we talk about the thymus gland is located just above the heart. Okay, so it's in the thoracic region and it is going to be located just above the heart. Thymus is also a bilobed gland, which means it is going to be having two lobes. Similar to this, there will be one more lobe. Alright, so let's take a look at the structure now. Thymus gland is covered by an outermost protective capsule, and then internally the thymus gland is divided into two regions as the cortex, which is the outermost region. So wherever you come across the word cortex, it is going to be the outermost region, and then the inner medulla. Okay, and then inside the thymus there are going to be a lot of cells. Okay, so what are these cells going to be basically doing? So there are a lot of cells, and all the cells are actually the immature T cells. There will be a lot of immature T cells which are going to be present inside the thymus. So what is T cells? T cells are nothing but lymphocytes. So when I explained about WBCs, there I must have mentioned that what are lymphocytes. Okay, so we are not going to that aspect of it because thymus gland, now we are going to be explaining and understanding only the endocrine aspect of it. So we are going to be understanding thymus as an endocrine gland, but thymus is also a partly lymphoid gland. So it's endocrine in function as well as it is going to be working as a lymphoid gland. So what is the meaning of lymphoid gland? Lymphoid gland means it's going to be a part of our body's immune system. Okay, so thymus gland is partly endocrine and it is partly lymphoid gland. So when we talk about the endocrine aspect of it, we need to discuss about the hormone. Am I right? So the hormone which is produced by the thymus is called thymosin. So what is the function of the thymosin? So thymosin is going to be helping in the production and differentiation of the T cells. It's going to be helping in the production as well as the differentiation of the T cells. So what are T cells? I just told that they are the lymphocytes. Okay, so these T cells are going to play a very important role in our immunity. If a pathogen has invaded our body, so the T cells are going to be fighting against the pathogen which has entered into our body, thereby providing immunity. So that is the work of thymosin, which helps in the production of the T cells. So these T cells have a very important role in giving immunity to us because they are only going to be fighting against the pathogen which has invaded inside our body. So when we talk about all the other glands and all the other organs, what basically happens is in the fetal stage they are not that developed. But as a child is growing, that time only we will be able to see the organs as well as the other parts of our body growing very well. But then the thymus gland is a bit different. So this thymus gland during the fetal stage itself, it will attain its greatest size. Okay, so it will attain its greatest size, and after the fetus is born, it will again gradually keeps on growing up to puberty. Okay. So what is the meaning of puberty? The word puberty means the age of attaining sexual maturity. Am I right? So from the fetal stage till a person is attaining puberty, till that time the thymus is going to be showing its maximum activity. Okay. So after that, what is going to happen? The thymus will gradually tend to shrink. Okay. So when the thymus slowly starts to shrink, then the thymosin hormone will not be produced, and the activity of the T lymphocytes also will slowly reduce down. Okay, so this is about the thymus gland, and that is why we know that during the first few years you are prone to a lot of diseases and you are able to immediately overcome that. Okay, so your immunity power is much more. But then as you get older and older, the immunity becomes very, very less because the thymus gland is gradually shrinking. Okay, so I hope you understood about the thymus gland. Now let's move on to the next endocrine gland, which is the last endocrine gland which we'll be studying in our this chapter, and that is the pineal gland. So now let's take a look at the pineal gland is also called as epiphysis. So you know that pituitary gland is also called as the hypophysis, and pineal gland is called as epiphysis. So please don't get confused with both. So pineal gland is located in the brain. So we have already discussed the locations of all the endocrine glands. So I hope you know that. So pineal gland is going to be located in the brain. So what is the hormone this gland is going to be producing? So this gland produces a hormone which is called as melatonin. So what is melatonin? So melatonin is the time messenger. So this hormone is a time messenger, and it is very, very important for controlling an individual's sleep-wake pattern. Okay, it controls the sleep-wake cycle or the circadian rhythm. Or the circadian rhythm of a person. Okay, so sleep-wake cycle. So it's your internal biological clock. So when do you stay awake? When do you sleep? So all that. So production of this hormone is governed by the environmental factors. Okay. So this hormone production will be stimulated during darkness, and then when there is light, the production of this hormone will automatically decrease. So when there is light, the production of the melatonin by the pineal gland will be reduced, and when there is darkness, the production of this hormone will increase, because basically it is going to help in your sleep and wake pattern. Okay, so what will happen if there is lack of this hormone? So lack of melatonin will lead to disturbances in your sleep and wake pattern. So you will not be able to sleep at the right time, and you will not be able to wake up at the right time. So your entire internal biological clock is going to be disturbed. Okay, so this hormone is very, very important because sleep is something which is very important for a person. So I hope you understood whatever we have discussed in our endocrine system. Thank you so much for watching the video.